Hello, everyone. This is 26.2 at 50, where I talk through my process of training to run the Portland Marathon this October. So, this is July 6th today as I'm recording this. So, happy 4th of July to everyone watching this from the States. And I just ran, so this is Sunday, so I ran 12 miles this morning. That's kind of my longest run yet in the training plan. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about basically motivation and staying engaged with training through the course of all of it. So, as I said, I just finished week 5 of my plan, and it is dawning on me a little bit that it's like, wow, I have 13 more weeks of this to go before the race, so it's like I have 3 more months of training. And I think probably all distance runners go through this, especially marathoners. Like, it can be hard to maintain your focus and your motivation through like months and months of training. So, for example, I ran my first race, or for my first marathon, sorry, in 2022, and I definitely experienced some of this. So when I signed up, I was really excited, really motivated, and over the course of, the 4 months, like, the enthusiasm definitely, like, it changes. Like, once it's, running 4 or 5 times a week, like, just stops being like new and exciting after a certain point. And as I got towards the race back in 2022, my discipline definitely like wavered. I was doing all of my runs, but my diet definitely started being less on point in the last like 4 weeks or so. Eating out at restaurants more, kind of eating more pub food, drinking more alcohol back in those days. And I think I definitely paid a price for that on race day because I didn't have a great experience. So this time around, I'm actually kind of taking a little bit of a different approach. So my plan is that when I get into like the last 6 weeks or so of my training, so this will be about the middle of August, when I get there, I'm gonna really try to just lock it down for those last 6 weeks. So pretty much eating all of my meals at home, cooking everything, just having super consistent routines, not drinking any alcohol, and just really try to be focused and dedicated for that last 6 weeks. And nowadays, we're in week 5. I'm kind of allowing myself, I guess, a little bit of grace. Like, my diet is still very good. We still cook most of our own food, and we don't really eat out at restaurants. And I don't really, especially for the last year and a half or so, I don't really drink alcohol anymore. So things are overall, they're good, but I'm kind of allowing myself a little bit of wiggle room now, in the sense of like, okay, Friday evening, long week of work, like, let's go out to eat at a restaurant. That's fine. We actually have a really amazing ice cream parlor. It's like a block from where we live, and the weather's getting warmer now because it's July. And once in a while, it's like, yeah, okay, let's just go get ice cream. It'll be great. So I think as long as you're not overdoing it or turning that into a lifestyle, it's probably okay at this stage of the training plan. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in a little bit more detail, is like, how do you see yourself through a process like this? I think part of it is being real about it even before you make the choice to run like a marathon. Just doing some research on what the training involves, how much you're going to have to run, how that's going to affect your life, and just knowing what you're getting into, because it is a ton of work. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Like, you're going to have to do a lot of running, and you're going to have to take really good care of your body, which affects other decisions you might make. And I would definitely say, like, if you're watching this, like, not necessarily a race oriented distance runner, but you're interested in that, fantastic. But I would say, like, start with shorter distances first and work your way up to a marathon. Like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going right to a marathon, because even if you do like a half, it's definitely less intense. Like, it's not as much running and it is a shorter plan, so you can kind of get like the flavor of what marathon training is like without having to do like quite all of this for your first time. And you can get a sense of like, okay, how disciplined am I really? Like, do I like this? Do I hate this? Like, it's good to be upfront about that before you even get into all this. And yeah, I guess the other thing to think about, if kind of before you even decide to run a marathon, is just like, once you do some research on training plans, just be real about like how that's going to affect your life, and whether that's going to work for you. So one example would be, so the plan I'm doing, I run 5 times a week. So I run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and these are shorter runs, but they're during the work week. So you're going to have to figure that out if you do the same thing. Like, okay, do I get up super early and run, or do I do my normal day and then just like get out there like after work? Those have pros and cons. Like, it's not fun to necessarily wake up like super early in the morning and like go run 6 miles. But at the same time, like, running after work, like, I'm usually just tired. Like, I don't want to like exercise after work normally. And, also like I'm training for a race in the fall, so that would mean running through like the hottest part of the day in the summer, which also would not necessarily be fun. So like, think that through, think about what's going to work for you. And then like, I also run Saturday and Sundays, so as part of the training plan I'm doing, like the Saturday run is it's a shorter run, it's a pace run. So that Saturdays are when I work on like actually running at 9-minute miles for the pace that I'm targeting for the race. And then Sundays is a long run, so it's like a slower pace, but I'm out there for a while, just kind of building my endurance, building up my ability to run 26 miles. So you should think through like how that's going to affect your weekends. Look, I've been there. If your lifestyle is around like you love going out with your friends and staying out late on the weekends, that's fantastic. But I've been there. No judgment. But are you going to be able to like drag yourself out of bed and run 12 miles like the next morning? And if you like to drink alcohol when you're out with your friends, again, no judgment. Been there. Are you going to want to drag yourself out of bed in warm weather and go run 12 miles with a hangover? Maybe not. So, there's a good chance that like you might have to make some sacrifices to do the plan and to run as well as you want to. I mean, something I'm kind of struggling to think through right now is like, okay, I'm training through the summer. Can I take a summer vacation? And like, how does that affect my training? Like, can I miss like a whole bunch of time? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that like our like, kind of longer vacation this year might actually like happen after the race. Like, maybe we'll like go somewhere in October. But yeah, like then again, if you have kids and they're in schools, different discussions. So it's just, these are things you should just think through, and just decide if they're going to work for you. But they can be worked around. Obviously, people run marathons all the time, so it is possible. As far as like staying motivated and engaged, like once you decide to do the race, I mean, one piece of advice I would have is just build a lot of consistent routines around your running. Like, kind of related to this whole like, staying up all night thing. Like, get to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time during the day, get plenty of rest, good diet, all that stuff. Like, try going running at a consistent time each day. Just like reduce the number of like problems you have to solve and decisions you have to make and things you have to figure out to like do your training plan. Like, just make your life simpler so that like the training doesn't become like a problem in your life. And the last bit of advice I'd have is just to kind of be kind to yourself. It's a long process. Like, don't, like, I know a lot of distance runners are super type A people, and they sometimes struggle to kind of be kind to themselves, and they just want to push and push, like, no matter what. But like, yeah, honestly, if you get sick, like, skip your runs. Like, get better. If you get injured, don't try to run through the injury. Don't make it worse. Get plenty of rest. Just be good to your body. Listen to your body. I mean, like, I talked about like my plan is like 5 runs a week, but like, especially early in the plan, like if you feel the need to skip them, you can probably skip a few. Like, I would not recommend skipping like the Sunday run, like the long, building your endurance run. But some of these, like, okay, a random like 3-miler on a Thursday, like, especially early in the plan, you can probably skip that and you're okay. I guess the last thing would be, depending on where you live, this isn't a big issue where I live, but like, don't run in like unsafe weather. Like, don't be that type A. Like, if you live in like a place with tornadoes, don't go running in a tornado. Or if you're training for like a spring marathon, like, don't run in ice. It's just a terrible idea. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and feel free to leave me a comment or subscribe. But otherwise, I hope all of you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.